Welcome back.
I was so confused what you were trying to go for there. Like, we were just gonna do, or were we gonna be silent for 30 seconds? Like, come on now.
I thought about it. The thing is, I never know. That's why it's always a disaster. Oh,
and the one time I did it, you decided to never let me do it again.
Well, you did, so I forgot what it was, but I was very offended. Welcome back. Talking trash. Looking ahead at fall 2021. Should be better than last season. Hopefully is better than last season.
More than likely will be better than last season.
More than likely will be better than last season. You got a lot of news in the doc and you keep yelling at me for not letting you do an intro so you can take the reins on the news.
Okay. I mean, so for starters, we obviously know how a lot of us feel about live action anime, how they don't really do very well, but the Netflix live action Cowboy Bebop series showed their opening credits, and it actually didn't look that bad. Like, it felt very good. Like, it stayed very true to the original opening, had the same theme and everything like that, like the same like quality and stuff like that. Like, I don't think it inherently looked bad, and he kind of gives me hope that maybe that could be like the first like good live action adaptation. It is old enough that, like, you know, maybe it needs like a fresh set of things. You know, at this point, it's sad to say, but it's like 25 years old. Like, it's getting there in terms of how old Cowboy Bebop is. So it'll help like a new generation of people get into it, and I'm hoping that it'll be good.
Yeah, I'm hopeful for it. Like, it's the kind of thing I think you can do live action, but
yeah, I agree.
We'll see. My favorite thing related to it so far, still, I think I retweeted it, was someone saying, live action ruins another anime. This casting is terrible. That girl's not even a cartoon. And it got me. I love that. So,
well, let's see if this is terrible or it can finally break the trend of good anime or bad anime adaptations. On the topic of new sequels, adaptations, stuff like that, we have Made in Abyss. New info for the second season is going to be coming November 12th. So that's going to be about a month from now.
It's my favorite kind of announcement. It's like, we're going to have an announcement, but we're just announcing it to let you know.
Literally, Nintendo just did that with Smash Brothers.
Oh, like, stop. Just
it literally was the biggest tease, and I absolutely loved it because of how much it trolled people. And I mean, hey, at least there's some sort of information there. Whereas this next thing is just a fairy tale sequel. We don't really.
Well,
I mean,
no,
we know it's the 1,000-year quest, but like,
yeah,
there really isn't much more that comes out of that. I remember when the manga came out for it, I was like, it felt too long from when the 1,000-year quest came out to when the like fairy tale manga ended for me, that I was like, I felt like I sort of forced myself to finish the fairy tale manga, and I didn't want to jump into like this side quest anyway.
Yeah,
but I mean, a lot of people like fairy tale. I think personally, I remember you have gone on record for saying you think it's like the most generic of like shonen animes.
Fairy tale.
I don't think it's worthy of hate. I think there's, you know, fun things about it, but I don't feel like a sequel kind of feels more like it's being a cash grab than anything.
Yeah, I forced myself to finish all of it because I got pretty far in before I realized that every arc and every fight was exactly the same. And then one of my friends who was further ahead, who I dropped it for a while, and then one of my friends who was further ahead was like, "Oh no, keep watching it gets better," and it didn't. It got the same. So yeah, I guess, fun fact, I made this channel specifically because I hated fairy tale, and my plan for my first video was going to be to just rant about how much I hated fairy tale.
Well, now you can rant about the 1,000-year quest, because I'm sure that's going to go well.
Yeah.
In terms of things you can rant about positively, because I know you love one specific character in this, Bungo Stray Dogs is getting a new anime. Or new movie, sorry, let me be correct on that.
Yes, yeah, new movie. I don't think we have any other details on that yet, but I like Stray Dogs. It's
yeah, I mean, I know you're a huge Dazai fan.
I love Dazai. He's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a very fun character to have around. So, more of Dazai is always more appreciated here. And honestly, for one of the few isekais that I give a shit about, Shield Hero Season 2 is finally going to be happening. It got delayed. I think it was supposed to actually be this season, and it got
Yeah.
delayed from here. So we have announcements that it's going to be April of 2022. So it'll be the spring season, which honestly is not that bad. I very much like Shield Hero. I kind of binged it all from like one airplane ride to go like PAX East and stuff like that. Like I was very interested in it, and I'm glad that I kind of spent like a week. It was almost like instead of going to the convention, my nights were more looking forward to actually watching Shield Hero. So I want to see how this goes, because as like frustrating as some of the characters in Shield Hero were toward the start, it started to obviously give us that vindication. So I want to see where it goes from there.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I only watched it after I watched Isekai Quartet season 1, and I heard it was in season 2, and I was like, I should watch that. And I'm just really glad I did. It was well worth it, not just for the 3 scenes he's in Isekai Quartet, but it's actually a good isekai. It is.
Yeah, I think it's definitely one of the better ones out there. And again, like there's obviously like this clear frustration for like the first like 80% of season 1, but you finally do get that like vindication towards the end, and then it starts to feel good, and you can actually start to work from there. So again, you finally hit that like high point of things to let's see what happens after that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know as soon as season 1 ended, they announced season 2 and season 3. So who the hell knows when season 3 is gonna come? But
yeah, and that's
I'm
like most
season
isekai
2's
are like
here.
visual novels, and so I don't really have much info on like reading visual novels to know what anything happens on that.
Yeah,
And
there's
I've
not
been
enough
trying to get
pictures
it.
in those for me to pick them up.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, that's why I don't read a lot of visual novels, is just because like I want like the manga aspect. Like I don't look for like a visual novel, I look for a manga.
Yep. Same boat.
And in other news, not so much anime, but for me specifically, because I read it weekly, Dr. Stone's manga is actually entering its final arc. And I remember one of the biggest things that you said about season 2 was that you felt like the pacing was very weird.
Yeah.
And let me just tell you, the most recent arc's pacing goes above and beyond anything that you were just talking about. So I low key am looking forward to it ending, because I don't want it to get any worse. Because I'm starting to like, it's starting to feel like it's gonna lead towards a Demon Slayer Food Wars kind of ending. And I really did like Dr. Stone, and I really don't care as much because of how fast everything has been developing, and how it just there are literal moments where they just have skipped months at a time in the manga and stuff like that, and it's just like, I don't know, it feels very it just feels very forced to get done sooner.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, obviously we weren't doing these podcasts. I was doing a channel when Dr. Stone started airing, but I kind of had the same feelings towards the beginning of it as I did towards Tokyo Revengers when it started. Of, oh, this is a really interesting concept, cool premise, has a lot of potential, but could go either way.
Yeah, you actually watched Dr. Stone before I did.
Yes, yeah, where I do feel like Tokyo Revengers went the right direction. I feel like Dr. Stone has kind of gone the wrong direction. If you're saying that the pacing gets worse than season 2 was, I'm probably not going to enjoy.
I'm curious how much longer, because again, it is very obvious that they're going to be going into the final arc based off of the most recent chapter, but it feels like they could finish it in 20 chapters, and I wouldn't even be surprised at this point. And for our last bit of news, SAO Progressive, so that is the movie that is taking place in like the original SAO season, but it's going to go more in depth in all of the floors and stuff like that, and their exploration there. That's going to hit US and Canada theaters starting December 3rd. So we're actually going to be getting that earlier than I would have expected.
Yeah.
Because a few years ago, you probably would be expecting to see like 6 months go by when a movie airs in Japan to when it shows up in America. So we're actually starting to like break down. Like I remember the big one for me was Psycho-Pass's movie. I remember that came out, and it took like 8 months roughly before it came to America, and it was much harder to find to be able to watch and stuff like that. But now we're starting to get to a point where it's getting closer and closer that we're almost getting like worldwide releases instead of, you know, waiting 6 months for these things.
Yeah, and it's wild that we're bringing it up, because it, as of recording, it's like, I guess, just released in Japan. Like it's a this season movie. It's for fall, but it's going to be in
Yeah.
theaters in December, like before the fall season's over, right? Early
Yeah,
December is
I
still part
mean,
of the fall season.
yeah, it looks so if we look on my anime list, it says that it's supposed to air October 30th, so a day before Halloween here, and so that
Wow,
means in a
that's
month,
way
in
off. I
like a
misread the
week,
month.
and so like a month and a week, we're gonna be getting the next season or the movie in America. Like
Yeah,
that is incredible for what it's worth.
crazy turnaround that we don't usually see.
Yeah, and I
Um,
mean that's a great thing for anime fans,
and then while we're
even if
on
it
the
is
topic,
Sword Art Online.
real anime fans, the truest anime fans.
I
While we're on
mean,
the
hey, we're probably back
topic,
to anime.
kind of the same. While we're on the topic of movies from this season, Jujutsu Kaisen Zero is also this season. It is slated to premiere December 24th, so much later.
Yeah, so we probably
I
won't get information for like a month or two
Yeah,
before we find out when it's going to be in America.
yeah. I was gonna say I don't know anything. I was gonna ask if you had heard any updates on that, but
No, but I
okay.
mean, Jujutsu Kaisen is so insanely popular right now
Yeah,
that I wouldn't be surprised if we get it sooner than later. Like I imagine maybe like we can get some news by like the end of the month.
yeah. Hopefully.
We'll find out when we record the next episode whether or not I'm right.
All right, let's get into the fall anime, which reminds me, last episode you did not mention Blue Period.
No, I purposely avoided mentioning it because I knew I was going to be talking about it here, and I was like, I will not. I will be good. I will be good. I avoided my Blue Period speak, which, by the way, has only been getting more and more hyped over like the last like month. I
It
even
has
saw
been.
like the anime man was talking about how he's like in love with the manga and stuff like that. So, I just considering I started reading that back in like volume 3 back in like April. I'm just feeling vindicated that it's starting to be something that everyone's looking forward to right
Yeah,
now.
I mean, I'm looking forward to it a lot too, but that's all foreshadowing. We'll get to that later if any of you can guess which category that'll be in. For now, the sleepers of the season. I think this is a fun category for this season because I said it at the end of last episode where it feels very shallow after the top few shows. So anything could emerge in an odd taxi fashion.
I agree. I think there's just certain anime like descriptions that I'm like interested in, but I don't want to put them like right off the top right away.
Yeah. My choice for sleeper is one that I feel like it's gonna, like, I know where it's gonna finish. We usually avoid talking about sequels kind of for that reason because we kind of know what to expect. Way of the House Husband season 1 was overly hated. It did not deserve the shit it got. I understand that it was not a full animation, but it's a gag anime, and I thought season 1 was still really funny and still really good. So I expect season 2 to just be more of the same. Only considering it a sleeper because I feel like people are gonna complain about it again, but it'll be a good watch.
Yeah, I think if you're I think there's always those kind of animes where like if you're like willing to look past like certain aspects of things, they can be enjoyable. I'm just wondering whether it's going to have the same effect that you can look past that same problem that season 1 had. So we'll see what happens with that. Uh, for my sleeper, it's kind of like a toss up right now. If you want like a true sleeper, one thing that does sound interesting to me is called Taisho Made in Fairy Tale, and I know that sounds like very weird in terms of like just like the name off the top of my head, but it does feel it kind of has this description of something that I would probably be more interested in, but I think that the synopsis of it is more interesting to me than a lot of the other anime that are deep down towards there. Like you have to scroll a pretty far amount to get there, so that's why I was like maybe it can be a sleeper. But if you want something that's going to be a little bit more niche, but it looks like to be more popular, Tacto P Destiny is probably going to be my more generic sleeper choice. And I find music anime very interesting, and this has like a very weird like premise involving music, but it's also directed by Mappa and Madhouse. So like, I feel like anytime I see a Madhouse anime, I'm always willing to give it a shot.
Yeah. Well, you see Madhouse and Mappa, and it's automatically, at least on your radar, you're looking out for it. checking in to see how it's doing if you're not already just watching it.
Yeah, exactly. So I think with just the studios enough, it's probably worth considering. But I would not be surprised if this ends up in like another category come a couple episodes of watching it.
Yeah, I would not either. It seems like it could end up being very polarizing where I don't know. It's it's a music anime like you said, but I watched the trailer and it's like I think there's like some sword fights going on. It's very
Hmm.
I don't know what to expect, but
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, I think a good choice for a sleeper or it could end up being really good. Getting into the other side of the spectrum, the overrated shows of the season. I think your choice is kind of interesting if you're sticking with that one.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
I
put you on
think
the spot.
I probably will. And so currently, my choice is Platinum End. Now, if you don't know, Platinum End, I think that it's either the director or the writer, but one of them worked on Death Note
I believe it's
originally.
the writer. Yeah, it's
The
the
writer,
writer
yeah.
of Death Note and Bakuman's manga.
Yes. So like that's a pretty high bar within itself. But part of me just looks at this and I feel like it's gonna be one of those animes that we're all gonna look forward to and then be disappointed in like 5 episodes. So I want to be wrong. I want this to be good.
Yeah.
But if I have to pick something that I feel like is going to be overrated, this feels like it has overrated written all over it.
Yeah, it's one that I'm really looking forward to. Maybe even more than any other show this season. But I think it needs to be kind of on that like overrated alert because
Yeah.
the reason it's popular is the guy that wrote it.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like
and that hypes it
myself
up
included.
so much there.
Yeah, myself included. I feel like nobody even really knows what it's about. They just kind of see the mangaka and they're like, "Oh, that'll be good because Death Note was good."
Which doesn't always bode well for
No, so
things. I mean, just look at Boruto.
to be fair, I think his assistant was working on that, and then he took back over, and maybe that's why it's not shit right now.
It's got a 5 on the anime scale, so we'll see how shit it really is. But
known Boruto hater. It's not worth sitting through 200 shitty episodes, but it's been good since episode 200. So,
do you remember that last episode that we recorded where I said how you shouldn't have to wait 9 episodes for something to be good? And now you're telling me to wait 200 episodes?
No, I'm telling you, don't do that. I'm telling you not to be me.
Good. I don't plan to be you.
Don't do it. Skip to episode like 190.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Don't watch Boruto. It's not worth it. Oh God, what are we? Overrated? Oh, okay. I forgot where we were. We talked about Boruto.
Still accurate, but yes.
Yeah. My choice for overrated strictly because I already chose a sequel for my sleeper, and I am not allowing myself to pick 86 season 2 as my overrated, even though it
Especially
absolutely
because
will
you
be.
Stuck with that the entire time from the last time.
And I was right based on my opinion of the show once it ended. I think people still liked it. I didn't, so.
Yeah. I think people actually really liked the ending. I personally didn't like the ending, but for the most part, yeah.
I was okay with the ending if there wasn't a season 2. I don't really know. I don't know what season 2 is. It doesn't make sense. But
yeah,
my choice for overrated is my senpai is annoying.
Yeah,
because
that sounds like it would be bad just based off the title.
Yeah, like that's all I feel like I needed to research to make a selection.
And like the studio that's making it isn't that bad. Like it's a name that you wouldn't know off the top of my head, but like it made like Monthly Girls, Nozaki-kun, it made Umaru-chan, Plastic Memories. Like it's made some good stuff that are like on the more niche end of things. But I don't know. It also made that dumbbell anime, so who knows how that'll go.
It made Danten. Oh, that's so sad. It's so sad. Every anime is shit, and then my favorite sleeper anime ever.
Now you have to like it.
No, I will not. I refuse. You know why? Because
please elaborate on why this is bad.
Uzaki-chan was shit. Nagatoro was shit. This is gonna be shit. The premise of your show shouldn't be the main character is obnoxious. It's not fun to watch. It's not. Like,
I mean, I can't argue with that.
it's like that shouldn't be the premise. It's like it would be like if there was like a string of shows all of a sudden that were like the whole premise is my life is boring.
I mean, I will say there is an interesting parallel that you can draw with this because, like, one of the biggest, there's an anime that neither of us actually have on our list, but we're probably going to talk about it as well. But Komi Can't Communicate is coming out, and a lot of anime that try to have this silent character that's very, like, to herself kind of doesn't do well, but this has been and like typically does better in like manga form where you can actually like draw the silence better than just sitting in silence. But this is something that people are so popular or so excited for.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas every time people get excited for annoying main character, everyone just stays on the same point that it's annoying main character. So
yeah, it's the annoying main character trope genre, whatever we're calling it, is awful, and I don't know why it's continuing. Komi, I think, much like Platinum End, is kind of in that, look out, like this might not be what you're hoping for. Where it could flop.
I feel like Komi's more likely to not flop, but there is a potential of it flopping.
Yeah, I don't think Komi can be bad. I think it can just be like, it's okay. I don't think it could be amazing either, though. I don't think it could be a masterpiece. It's just, it's going to be an above average show at best. Like a good show, dare I say.
Yeah, I can see that. Do we want to jump into our shows that we don't think could be very good right now with our dumpster fire?
Man, this is, for me personally, one of my, like, this might be my favorite season ever. I feel like there's, like, legitimately 5 shows I could pick for a dumpster fire that would all be worse than Girlfriend.
Do you want me to go first? Because I have one right now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay. By the time you finish saying that name, I'll have a few.
I was about to say, do you want me to say the Japanese name first, or do you want me to go the English version?
I attempted to say the Japanese name in my Fantasy Anime League video, and I made it about an 1/8 of the way there.
All right, viewers, now bear with me here. My dumpster fire is Shin no nakama janai to Yusha no parte wo oai dasu no de henkyo de slow life suru koto ni shimashita.
Or as I call it, party.
Yeah, I mean, the English name is even longer. It is banished from the hero's party. I decided to live a quiet life in the countryside, comma, I was kicked out of the hero's party because I wasn't a true companion, so I decided to have a slow life at the frontier. I had to emphasize the comma because of how long that sentence was.
I feel like there used to be a semicolon in there too.
It's such a ridiculous name. So the premise is that this person gets kicked out of a party and they open like a pharmacy in this isekai world. And like, imagine, like, isekais already are so weird. I can't imagine this isekai of, I'm just gonna work the pharmacy and that be exciting.
Yeah, I don't know. I picked it for my fantasy team. I did. I chose it. I don't know about that choice, but I picked it.
If you chose it for comedic value, then by all means, I think you made a right choice.
Yeah, it's yikes.
I will say, I think I did a better job at reading the name in Japanese than this show will do in our hearts.
That is fair. Oh my god, I feel like the 1:30 intro song should just be someone reading the title.
Just have a bunch of like 5-year-old English students try to read that name.
I've been waiting for this specific segment of this season for like 2 seasons now. This is not my choice for dumpster fire, but there's no way I can't mention World's End Harem. It's no good. It's basically hentai, but they decided to censor it by scribbling magic marker all over everything. And yeah, it's just one of those shows, you know. It's
The premise
I don't
is
even want to talk
there's
about it. Yeah.
no, I'm going to, just to put it in perspective for people. The premise, I don't even know if I'm gonna get the exact numbers right, but it's like 1 man to every 100 women, and so they need to breed to keep civilization alive. It's borderline hentai that they're just describing as ecchi, and that they're gonna air on like standardized TV.
Yeah, it's so that's how good this season is, where that is not either of our choices for dumpster fire of the season. My choice for the season is something I've been looking forward to since like March. Tesla Note. The only way I could describe this show is I hope it is the spiritual successor to X-Arm.
Can we talk about one thing from it though? And how good the voice cast is for
insane.
this. And it's frustrating because we sat here, I kid you not, it's 2 episodes ago. We sat here for 20 minutes discussing the cast and how frustrating it is to see how these good voice actors and actresses put into this.
And it's the perfect timing because my anime list must have had an update recently where if you click a voice actor, you can sort it by their popular roles. So the main character of this is, I mean, Bon from 7 Deadly Sins. Main character, Free, he's Ryuji Ken or Draken from Tokyo Revengers. He's a few characters from Kuroko and a few other big shows. The other main characters are, I mean, even bigger voice actors. It's insane.
Yeah, it's
I have
ridiculous.
To sort this.
I mean, like, you go down 2 and you get Levi. And, like,
Archer,
you know,
Daiki, Levi,
yeah,
he's like Greed. Like, it's insane. The amount of budget, they had in the casting versus what the series looks like is about equal to what X-Arm was. X-Arm has some really good voice acting talent also. The problem is that the characters' mouths weren't animated. They look like ventriloquist dummies the whole time. It was ridiculous. And I really
just close your eyes and listen to the good voices, and then you'll be fine.
Yes, the good Japanese sounds. I don't know any of these words, but it's way better than watching with my eyes open.
Just join me in the land of Duolingo to learn Japanese.
I'm already doing Spanish. It looks like just miserable, awful CGI. The trailer has some like CGI train coming through a portal in the sky, and as I guess a preview of what I'm going to be doing here for the channel, I'm going to watch every episode every week the same way I did X-Arm, because I think it deserves that kind of respect.
Respect. That's the word I would use for this.
Yeah.
Respect.
Speaking of respect, it is, if you sort by popularity, higher than Lupin the Third Part 6. And Lupin doesn't deserve that. Lupin deserves so much better than that. That's not right.
Yeah, Lupin deserves much more than that. I'll agree.
All right. After a few deep breaths, I'm ready to get into anime of the season.
I'll let you go on this one.
I'm less hype for. I think this is funny because last season I had Sunny Boy's anime of the season as my prediction, and you had it as your dumpster fire prediction. This season you have Platinum End as your overrated, and I have it as my anime of the season. Part of this is because I don't want to double up and both choose the same show. Not to spoil the show you've chosen or anything. But
I think anybody who's watched this, all of you that have watched, any episode can know what my guess is.
For me, this season, there's a very, very clear-cut top 2 shows I'm interested in. And then after that, a few things I'll give a try, but Platinum End is the one I'm looking forward to the most. I am kind of buying into the Death Note author hype a little bit. I haven't seen Bakuman, which I have heard it's good, but it's on my list. It's
It's an
buried on
anime
that.
about manga.
Yep, it's buried on the plan to watch list until who knows when. So I mean,
When you're on your deathbed, maybe you'll get to it.
bring me Bakuman.
Bakugan? Yes, here
yeah.
you go.
Oh God! Oh no! Oh, what a terrible miscommunication! My dying wish. I'd much rather Beyblade. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'll read, not out loud, not for you guys. This is for me to know what the hell this show's about. I'll read the plot synopsis for the first time. Yeah, all right. So it sounds super edgy. Very good. All right. Yes.
All right.
Yep. All right. Yeah, it's gonna be an edge fest
for everybody,
and I'm gonna love it.
Yeah, again, like the description itself was like another reason why I kind of led it to overrated.
Yes. If it's first half of Death Note, it'll be fantastic. If it's second half of Death Note without the first half crutch,
Is this where I go out on record for saying I've never actually watched Death Note?
Oh man, I don't know if I should let you choose anime this season or if I should just do the outro.
Look.
Oh,
I was really bad growing up, and I legitimately said I didn't want to watch Death Note to be a hipster because I was like, I don't want. Everyone else talks about this. I don't want to watch it, and that was literally the reason growing up why. And now I'm just like too embarrassed that I haven't watched it yet to actually watch it.
Wow. I know your main thing is streaming games on twitch.tv/Baeginning, but
Partnered.
If you ever get to the million sub kind of area, I feel like that's the same as like Giguk never seeing FMA Brotherhood. I feel like never seeing Death Note and being so involved in anime is
I have watched. Let's
shocking.
see right now. What does my list say right now?
I'm stunned.
I have watched 302 anime. None of them are Death Note.
Is it still literally the most popular anime?
On Mal? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't think anything's ever gonna get close to that in terms of popularity. Yeah, there's 3 million one. Actually, it's just Attack on Titan season 1 is getting close.
That would have been my guess.
There's about a 40,000 gap between that and that. But I mean, how many more people are gonna be like jumping onto Attack on Titan these days? Depends.
We'll see when it finishes.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I have literally never watched it.
That's wild.
Yeah.
How did you sit through last season's anime and not go, man, I should watch Death Note instead?
Because I was busy streaming to not have time to start it. But we don't talk about not airing anime. We talk about what's airing right now. And my anime of the season, if you don't know yet, Blue Period. I have all the volumes. I love this manga, and I am very much looking forward to this thing. It is an art manga with very well written LGBTQ plus characters. There's a lot to honestly relate to because the character kind of starts off as this like degenerate that really doesn't know where he's going to be going in life, and then finds his passion in art. And it's their journey through trying to go to school and trying to get to this like prestigious art school, and the growth that he makes for himself there. And it's just a very well written, emotional like story that is gonna be something I'm very much looking forward to. I love all of the characters so far. There's very relatable, emotions that we all go through. Even if you don't like art, you can relate to it. If you kind of just put yourself in the shoes of that person, you can understand that. And I think that there's just going to be such good things coming out of this.
Yeah, that is the other one that I'm excited for this season. It's Platinum End and Blue Period for me. Just because of I assume and I'm hoping that it is well written and will be well executed and could be, Platinum End maybe giving my action fix while Blue Period is the drama and I don't know. like actually well written show. It's not a
Yeah. I mean, I've been telling you to watch or look forward to this for like 6 months now.
Mhm.
So, you know, if I've been that adamant about something, I'm either trying to shitpost super hard or I very much think this is good, and I very much think this is good.
Yeah, I'm I'm excited for it. I do think it started actually. I think it had a
Yeah, the
pretty
first
early
episode,
release.
yeah, it started early, so the first episode is already out right now
Mhm.
for people who like, and you'll probably have a 1, maybe 2 episodes by the time this airs for you to be able to watch. So,
Yeah.
you know, this is one of those ones that you can definitely just jump right into.
Um, yeah, and I mean the studio that's doing it hasn't done a ton, it looks like.
Yeah,
They did Tonikawa, which I did like a lot actually, but I hardly recognize anything else. So
I recognize Seiki, right?
yeah, I recognize that one.
It's not
That
to
one,
say
and
that for good reason, but I
yeah.
recognize it. But yeah,
So
it's
I don't
I'm
know.
I'm gonna try my best for the studio part,
Mhm.
not to dictate my feelings of it because I just very much am happy that this is getting something, and I'm honestly happy that there's already so many people that are on board with it because it's one of those ones that I wasn't sure if it was going to be a sleeper or something that everybody was going to start right away. And I think the more
Yeah.
that it's talked about, the word of mouth that's been coming out of it, the more that it's been able to catch into the eyes of people. I like again, like I've seen some more prominent anime YouTubers and talking about it on TikTok. And it's like that's how
Mhm.
I originally found the manga. Was I remember I was watching TikTok and there was manga that you should buy this month, and it was like 3 different ones, and I looked for the 3 of them, and Blue Period was the one that I found in Barnes& and Noble.
Mm.
And that literally, that if I didn't watch that TikTok, I probably wouldn't have heard of this as soon as I did. And like that just kind of shows, because Blue Period is why I've almost even started to collect more manga again.
Mm. Yeah, I mean it is getting very popular. I think by end of season it's going to be one of the most watched ones. I mean, I don't know how fair it is necessarily because it has already started, but it is the fourth
To be fair, it's
most
also
added
like
thing.
it's also started because it was like one of those, it was released on Netflix 1 week ahead of the TV broadcast in Japan kind of thing. So
Mm. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah,
So
it
like the
should be
regular
good.
broadcasting will have just started by the time like this episode comes out.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. So we're not missing much there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it should be really good. I totally agree with you on your call of anime of the season, and because of your call on Platinum End as overrated, it does feel like Blue Period is maybe the safest choice to be one of the better shows this season.
Which is funny because I mean, it feels like it's a safe guess, but if you know me, you know that's just been like where my heart has been since before the season's like roster pretty much even got announced.
Yep, yep. But I'm totally with you on that. I think it's gonna be.
And art anime has to be beautiful. Like,
Yeah,
come
it
on.
has to look good. That's why I'm looking at the studio. I had to double check it, and like, it has to have at least one or two big, like, beautiful, Violet Evergarden-esque scenes. Really,
Mm-hmm.
like, it has to.
Yeah.
It has to hit those.
So let's just hope that that studio does. But if the studio faults, I don't think it's going to be off of the basis of the manga itself. It'll be based off of the studio.
Mm-hmm.
So because we are like, I already know how this is going to be. So I just want to see it animated now.
Yeah, I'm in. I'm going totally blind because I don't know how to read.
Yeah, I just ended with that.
That's it. We'll see you at the mid-season.
That's our title for this episode. I don't know how to read.
Dubbed over subbed because I never learned how to read. Oh, man. Yep, we'll see you at the mid-season where we'll talk about Blue Period some more.
We will. Most definitely.
Bye-bye.
Bye.